Hello. How are you doing today, my friend? Welcome back to Ramon at Home. I could not be more excited for you to be here today because in this video, I'm gonna give you full DIY ideas. They are so simple to make and they're going to really be upscale and not cheap looking. So I have gathered a collection of full DIY ideas that I think you're really going to enjoy. And we're gonna start with this beautiful farmhouse style truck that I'm going to decorate with you. So if you are interested, please stay tuned. Don't forget to like the video, share with a friend. And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you already subscribed, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss all of the full DIY ideas here on the channel. All right, so the materials we're going to need for this DIY is going to be this beautiful truck that I found at Shinoda Design Center. I'm gonna use one block of foam. I'm gonna use a few of these picks of pumpkins, a little bit of moss. I'm gonna use some florals in the farmhouse style, like this beautiful sunflower and then eucalyptus, lamb's ear, and olive because it's very indicative of that particular style. Then also I'm gonna use some hot glue gun to put it all together. All right, let me get all of this situated and I'll be right back with you, so stay tuned. Okay everyone, so the very first thing we need to do is get our mechanics ready, and for that I have a block of grape foam, and remember this is florist foam that is designed for silk flowers. But what I have done already is I cut about I want to say a fifth of the foam with my trusty florist knife, and then I'm going to go ahead and use this guy right here. I'm going to put some glue and just make sure that you are very generous because you don't want your bouquet to come crashing down on you while you have people over. So I'm going to put a lot of glue in it. I'm going to glue that down into my truck bed. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together. And the way you want to do that is you want to put some glue right here in the middle. Oh my goodness, I just ran out of glue, but thankfully I have some here on my drawer, and I hope it's the size. Yes, it is. All right, so make sure that you're generous. I'm gonna put that down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put that in the middle right here. But then what I want you to do is I want you to get some of your steaks. These are skewers that you use to grill, and I usually have them here on my drawer. And what I want to do is I'm gonna grab a skewer, then I'm gonna go ahead and put that all the way down like this. Then I'm gonna grab another one right here, make sure that goes all the way down. And I'm going to grab my wire cutters and I'm going to cut all the way down. And that's going to secure my foam. I'm gonna do a third one. You might wanna do it also on an angle like this. And there is no way that foam is gonna go anywhere. It's secure together. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna cover some of the perimeter of this bed to cover the foam. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put some moss down. Make sure that all of our mechanics, oh my gosh, what is the tag doing here? Let me go ahead and cut that. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying these videos. I just wanted to put this collection together of full DIYs so you're inspired to create something in your home. Now keep in mind, this is just an inspiration. If you want to replicate it, well, go ahead and follow the steps. But I just really want to give you ideas on how you can create your very own DIYs this fall season for your home. It's going to be so much fun, and I cannot wait to come back with all of the ideas that I have for you guys. All right, let me spin it around, make sure that I covered all of my moss. You can grab your knife and just push that moss. We want to make sure that you don't see that foam. All right, so far so good. I'm gonna leave it just like that. Okay, let me go ahead and get my flowers ready and I'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing I want to add is going to be the greenery, and I'm going to start with this eucalyptus. You want to start right here on the truck, on the bed of the truck, and remember what happens on the left happens on the right, so that's why you always want to go ahead and then do opposites to make sure that you have a balance on your arrangement. So I'm going to add yet another one right here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come directly over to this side and just make sure that you have some for the top because you want to make sure that all of your perimeter is, you know what, I'm going to get rid of this Lazy Susan just because I don't want that to be happening the whole time I'm working on this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. And then what I want to do is I'm going to add some of this beautiful olive, and I want to cut it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to make sure that it goes there. What happens on the right happens on the left. Like this. And I just want like a little tree of greenery to cover those mechanics. I'm gonna go ahead and add one right here. Then I'm gonna come opposite to this side, over on this side. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've learned something here, Ramon, at home. I wanna know what was your favorite trick that you ever learned from watching this channel. And if you are as excited as I am for the fall season, you guys, is here. And I just love this time of the year because it's the colors and the smells and just the textures. It's just so much fun. All right, so I have my truck bed all full with my greenery. And so basically we're just trying to cover the mechanics. So now I'm gonna get those flowers ready and I'll be right back. Okay, so the very first thing I wanna start with is going to be some of these beautiful sunflowers because the truck has a sunflower detail right here. And I want it to be a little bit more on the farmhouse style. So I chose this cream sunflower instead of the orange sunflower. So I'm gonna add one right here facing to you guys, and I'm gonna add one right here facing to me. And then I'm going to add a third one, but I want it to be right here in the corner. And remember to always create that triangle that we're talking about on the floral design to have a balance on your truck. So then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab this really pretty Daisy Mom, and I'm gonna use this as the flyaway, and look what this does right here. So it just extends the shape of your arrangement. So I'm gonna come over to this side. I'm gonna cut this one in two because I wanna make sure that I have enough for my whole truck. Look how pretty that is. It's so dainty and dangly, and I'm gonna make sure that I bend down a little bit so it spills forward like this. Then I have one more that I'm going to cut to make two, and I'm always telling you, do not be afraid to cut your florals because you already paid for them. So might as well just make them do what you want them to do. All right, so just like that, I'm gonna cut this one short. And you would think that I would get rid of this piece of greenery, but since you already have it, might as well and go ahead and add it to the mix. And that just adds more texture to your bouquet, and it helps you cover the mechanics a little bit better. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add some of this pumpkin pick. So I'm gonna add two of them. I'm gonna give it a little bit like this, and I'm just going to add this one right here on the top to add a little bit of that berry and a little pumpkin. Then I'm gonna come over to this side, and I'm going to insert in the exact same spot like that. I'm gonna add one more detail to this arrangement, so stay tuned. Okay everyone, so I love the way this looks. However, I do feel like it needs a little bit more of a detail to look a little bit more fallish. So what I brought is some of these pumpkins, and notice that I chose the green kind. I got a pumpkin and a gourd. They have those same shades of ivory and sage, and so it is not the orange typical of fall. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna add one right here, making sure that it goes all the way down on my foam. And then I'm going to add one more up here so it looks more plentiful and bountiful. And so that's gonna help it really give us that fall. See how it just added that full feel to it. All right, so then I'm gonna put this to the side because I wanna make a bow real quick. I wanna add some touch of modern to this, and what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a cute little bow, and I'm gonna grab my scissors and start by dovetailing this ribbon real quick because it's easier to just do it fast enough. All right, so you wanna give probably about a 4-inch tail, and it's going to be just a little detail, so you wanna make sure that it's not overpowering the truck. So I'm gonna do probably like a 3-loop bow, but it has to be rather small, smaller than normal at least. You know, we like to do big bows here, Ramon, at home, but you wanna make sure that it's not gonna overpower the truck, and it's just gonna add that little farmhouse feel to it. Oh, it's kinda like my shirt, I just noticed. All right, so I'm gonna cut right here. We'll dovetail in a second, but what you want to do is you wanna grab your stake with a wire. I'm always telling you guys, if you don't have any of these stakes with a wire, you have to go out and shop for some. All right, so now I'm gonna do is dovetail this right here. We're gonna flip one tail up, one down. Let me see, where do I want to put this bow? I think I'm gonna put it on this side, on the corner. Just go ahead and put it on your foam, flip it in, and look how cute is this. Love it. Okay everyone, so I just wanna give you a close-up of what the truck turned out to look like. And I just love the detail of the sunflower right here on the truck and how it really blends in with the sunflowers on the top. The gourds and the pumpkins really give it that full feel, and the color really does make it look farmhouse style. And I think the perfect detail, it's the black and white bow. It makes it look a little bit more modern. I cannot wait to read your comments, so leave me a comment and let me know, what do you think? Okay, so now I'm gonna share with you a beautiful wreath with a cornucopia that I really think you're going to enjoy. Okay, you guys, the very first thing you want to do when creating this wreath is attach your cornucopia to the form. And what I did is with wires, I went ahead and inserted the wires and then pull them to the back and spin them around very tight so that cornucopia is going to stay where it needs to be. I did 3 wires just to make sure that this is going to stay in place once we load it with all the fall goodies. Once you spin them around, go ahead and give them a clip just so the excess is not dangling around, because it's not very visually appealing. But just go ahead and make sure that you do twist those wires very tight, because there's going to be some weight into the cornucopia. Now what I did is I divided the wreath in half and I put it on the lower half right here, and I'm gonna make sure that it spills downward. Then the second thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and insert some of this floral foam, and I'm just gonna push it as far as I can. And once I do that, I like to put a wire through it just to secure it in place. And once we put this wire through the cornucopia, we're gonna make sure that we go forward and then back into the cornucopia, and this will secure that foam in place. Alright, then after that, what I need to do is I need to start greening my wreath. And I'm gonna go ahead and go in the motion the cornucopia is going. So the cornucopia is going like this. I'm gonna make sure that I insert all of my foliages and flowers the same way to make sure that they stay once they hang on to their form. What we want to create is a greened effect, and also go ahead and make sure that you green around the cornucopia. I love this look. I created it a few years ago for a client of mine, and she absolutely loved it, so I decided to recreate it with least expensive items for everybody to be able to afford it. Because when you create this with premium flowers and foliages, it can be a few $100s, but if you do it with the same techniques that I'm giving you and just Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby florals, then it doesn't have to be so expensive. I always like to insert one flower style at a time, so I'm gonna start with this really pretty orange hydrangea, and I want everybody to save one of each from each flower to be inserted into the cornucopia as well. So I think the bushel has 5 or 6, so we're gonna make sure that we keep one for the cornucopia. And when I do this style, I just go ahead and put in the middle because that is for later. Then I'm gonna add some of these sunflowers that are also from the Dollar Tree. Can you guys believe these flowers are from the Dollar Tree? I cannot even. Look how beautiful they are. And for you get 5 blooms for $1. It is so cool. Always remember to always add one flower style at a time. That way you keep the balance going. So far so good, but it's now time to insert some of the pretty elements that are going to be the drama factor of this wreath. And I'm gonna start with the pumpkins, because then that way we can fill in. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of these pumpkins, and just make sure that they shoot down when you insert them. Make sure that they are spilling out like this. I'm gonna add one right here in the middle, and then I think I'm gonna add one more. I think I want it down here, like that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some of this foliage to cover some of the foam, like the flowers and stuff. Make sure you cover some of this right here. So far so good, but the drama part comes in the shape of longer forms. And what I mean is we have these leftover pics from other projects. You want to make sure that you insert these guys always going down, and make sure they also go in the foam so they stay always going down. Like you can go from down here, and this is what's gonna give you that spilling cornucopia spilling forward look that I love so much. Always try and make these greeneries go coming out like this. And you, at this point, you're just basically filling in these blank spaces, but always make sure that they are spilling downward, so it gives you that effect that the stuff is just shooting out of the cornucopia. I have this really pretty one, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a bend so it gives me that motion. I'm gonna go ahead and insert from down here. Now you can find this floral foam at any of your local craft stores, or even at the Dollar Tree. It's very inexpensive. Now with foam, I do like to go buy it at a local craft store because the quality does matter when it comes down to foam. So I always like to splurge on my foam, because the better quality foam hangs on to the materials way better than the inexpensive foam. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert this. I'm gonna actually go from under this like that. What do you guys think so far? Leave me a comment in the comment section below if you are liking this cornucopia look. Alright, let me put some finishing touches and I will show you guys the finished product. Wasn't that so much fun? I really love the cornucopia and the wreath because it gives it that fall and bountiful look to it. And believe it or not, all of those items were purchased at the dollar store. So you can create a beautiful wreath for your front door on a very small budget. Alright, well now I want to invite you to come and join me on my Instagram for daily Insta stories, behind the scenes, and all of the things that you will not see here on YouTube. The links to my social medias are on the description box below. Alright, let's get back to the video. Alright everyone, so now that you've seen what our really beautiful bucket hanging piece looks in our door, I want to show you why I made it into that paper mache. It's because if you were to get tired of it and if you wanted to change it to a wreath or a swag, which we will be making later on in this season, you can buy one of these wooden boxes and you can literally just lift out your paper mache from your container, and then you can go ahead and put it on a box right here, and you can just go in with some of this moss that you can find at any of your local craft stores, and you can go ahead and cover your container like this, and you will have something beautiful for a side table, for an entry table, or anywhere in your home. As you can see, it was super easy to make, very fun, and dual purpose. What a winner. I really hope you are enjoying the inspiration for fall, and I cannot wait to read your comments. So leave a comment down below and let me know which of all of these projects so far is your favorite. And while you do that, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. All right, everyone. So to get this gorgeous centerpiece started, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this fall fern foliage. And if you've been following the channel, then you know that I like to cut all of my foliages and flowers all at the same time and use them that way as well, because it is faster and you get a more balanced look when you're doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this guy right here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pick some of these guys, and I'm just gonna start inserting this into my glue and then into the foam. And so basically I'm gonna do the same steps that I always tell you guys about. You know, if you go to your right, you need to go to your left, and vice versa. So I'm gonna start on my right, I'm gonna dip into my glue, and then I'm gonna go right here to my left, directly to the left. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing, like this. Now this is going to be a centerpiece, and I'm super excited because making centerpieces, it's my favorite thing here on the channel. I've done so many of them, and I'm gonna put a playlist right now on the screen so you guys can check out all of the full centerpieces that we've done here at Ramon at Home. So if you are looking for a centerpiece idea, then you'll be able to find it. All right, so now that I've done my 4 corners, I'm gonna go ahead and start by doing up on the top what I call the crown. And if you guys don't know what I'm using, this is a steel pick machine. This is a florist or a crafter item that I really recommend. If you make this to sell, then I really do recommend you get yourself one, because they really do come in handy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab another one right here. Just pull, push down. I am having so much fun with this fall season, and if you guys want to see more ideas, be sure to leave me the hashtag fall so that I know that you are enjoying this series and I can get to working. There's going to be so many great ideas, and I'm gonna leave a full description on the comment section below about where I found these items. Some of them came from Shinoda, some of them came from Hobby Lobby, some of them came from Walmart. So, all right, so far so good. It's looking really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert this one right here. Perfect, so that's what it looks like right now. It's looking really good. But then to contrast, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some green foliages. All right, you guys, so far I've added my fall fern and then my greenery, and that is an olive. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some of this fern. I absolutely love this fern because it gives it a lot of wispy and height. As you guys are about to see, just make sure you dip that into your glue so it stays. And I'm gonna go ahead. Now somebody asked me if you are willing to recycle your flowers. There's no need for you to dip into the glue. I'm making this like this because I'm gonna put them on my Etsy shop, so they have to be done properly. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add one more right here. And I cannot wait to read your guys' comments about this project, so be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what do you think about this project. All right, everyone, so for my florals, I'm gonna go ahead and use 5 of these pinch peonies and 4 sunflowers. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start once again, as I told you before, just adding 1 flower at a time. I'm gonna dip it into my glue, and I'm gonna go ahead in here. Then I'm gonna go and bring it down. Then I'm gonna do the same with this one right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and dip a little bit into my glue. Then I'm gonna open up this space right here, and I'm gonna go right there. I want a set of 3, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut me 1 more. I'm gonna cut the longest one, which is this one right here. I'm gonna go ahead and pick it. And then I'm gonna go right here, I'm gonna create a triangle. You guys know that I always like to add this infamous triangle right here. So that's what that's gonna look on that side. Then I'm gonna grab some of these peonies, and I'm gonna start up here on the top with some of the tall ones. And so basically I'm gonna add some of this glue. I'm gonna start up here like that. And then I'm gonna pick another one. You know, some people say that if you use this foam, this particular foam, you don't need to glue, but I just like to do it because it really is more secure. So what I'm gonna dip right here, I'm gonna insert right here, and I'm gonna do this triangle of 3. Make sure that it really goes into that foam. Wow, that's really cute. I love it. All right, so then I have these 2 bats right here. So what I wanna do is, first of all, take the tag off. And then what I'm going to do is I wanna kinda pick them like that. So one of them is taller than the other one, so I have to cut the excess from that one. And that is another benefit of picking your own flowers, because then you can create, instead of having 1 flower, I'll show you right here, you have this pick with 2 flowers, and always get them a little bent so they look more natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this guy up here, like that. Then I'm gonna turn it a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add my last sunflower. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna cut all of the excess, and I want you to see that this one has all these foliages. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip it into a little glue, the whole stem. We don't wanna waste any of these foliages. Then you open your foam like that, and then you insert all that, like that. All right, everyone, so far this is what it looks like. It's looking really good. However, I feel like it needs a little bit of pumpkins in it. So I'm gonna get some of these pumpkins ready, and I'll be right back with you. All right, so I have some of these picks, and what I like about this, because they have the gourds and the foliages already on them. So basically you just have to fluff them up. I'm gonna go ahead and dip this into my glue right here, and I'm gonna add one right here, right by the flowers. And that, as you can see right here, just add some pumpkin to it. Then I'm gonna do the exact same with this guy right here. This one has a gourd and a pine cone. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up some of this foliage right here, and then just go ahead and insert that, and then pull it down like so. And I'm gonna do one more over here. So basically just fold it in half like that. Make sure your foliage doesn't go in the glue. Then I'm gonna go ahead right here with the sunflowers, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put it right there. So that way it gives it a little bit of a pumpkin feel to it, and it just a little bit of character. All right, everyone, so the last step, we're gonna add some of this eucalyptus that I absolutely love, and that's what's gonna make it look tall and very lavish. So basically I'm just gonna go ahead and poke it in here like that, and then we're gonna give it a little fluff. All right, the very first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and secure our foam into our container. And the way I do that is I place a little bit of foam on the bottom of the container just to make it flush. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay 2 more pieces of foam and push as far down as I can. Then with our trusty floral tape, you can find this floral tape at any floral supply stores or any of your craft stores. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give this a little crisscross right here to secure the foam. It is a dry foam, and this tape is recommended as water safe, so it's recommended for floral foam that soaks water for fresh flowers. But in this case, we're just gonna go ahead and use it to hold our container, and it's really strong, so you don't have to worry about it falling apart once we put our items. All right, so the next thing I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and get some of this moss around the perimeter of it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with some fresh greens. In this case, they're silk, but they're green. So I wanna go ahead and green some of these right here to extend the shape of it. So just notice that what I'm doing here is I'm gonna give first the length of the arrangement and the height. That's gonna define how wide and how tall this arrangement will be. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do one here to the front, like that. And then one to the back. And I always like to mix this greenery with fall foliages. I think it just makes it a lot more visually appealing, and it gives it a lot more texture. Once we have our length and our height defined, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some of these fall greenery, and I really just want more of the green to show in this case because our pumpkin is green, so it's gonna give us a lot more texture. So what I'm gonna do is I do my length first, like this, and I just want to mix a little bit of this with it. So I did 2 down and 1 up. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this very inexpensive greenery from the dollar store to fill in the gaps. And the way I do that is I just cut them all at once, and then I just start to insert this to cover. These really inexpensive greens are really good to cover greenery and foam because, well, it's so inexpensive. And like I said, I just want a touch of this fall foliage because I really want the green to show, because our pumpkin is green, so it's going to really show better than if it was all orange. The contrast is not as harsh. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just work my way around this container. Right, I'm gonna add some of these magnolia over here. Actually, I'm gonna put this one on the top. This is just 2. And I'm gonna cut some of these magnolia. I'm gonna go ahead and insert some of this. I also like to, I think I might have mentioned this before, but I also like to add various types of foliages, some big, some small, some tall, some short. It's all about the texture, you guys. With this particular bouquet, it's all about the texture. Alright, so now that we're almost done putting some greenery into our bouquet. Now also keep in mind, when you do greenery, you have to do some up, some low, some in between. You have to weave them in, so that way it gives you a lot more texture. Once we have, I have one more, so I'm gonna go ahead and add it over here in the back. Once we have our container completely greened, what we're going to do is we're gonna add our focal items, and in this case I just want it to be very simple. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of these sunflowers, and these guys come with a little wire. So what I do is I just put it right here against the sunflower, and then I start spinning around really tight, really tight. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add one right here, just one sunflower, and then we'll do a second one right here, really tight. And then we're gonna add it over here. And then this pumpkin is made out of styrofoam, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and poke it with one of these guys right here, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and insert it right here. Then with our moss that we have left over, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do clumps of it like this and like this. Just a little clumps of moss make it look a lot more textured, like that, and voila, you have yourself a beautiful centerpiece for your table.
Well, that's all I have for today, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below letting me know which was your favorite project. I cannot wait to come back with more fall DIY ideas to inspire you to create something beautiful for your home this fall season. And if you enjoyed this particular arrangement, there's going to be a playlist right here with all of the farmhouse style, very similar to this DIYs that I think you're going to enjoy. All right, you guys, consider subscribing. You can watch more videos right now. Until next time. Bye.